Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Bases Loaded. The trio is finally back together. I can use this awesome overlay now because all three of us are here. We're coming down to the home stretch here. What are we at? About 16 games to go. Atlanta Braves, as of this recording, had just clinched the NL East finally at 96 wins. They have been truly dominant all year.
Yeah.
Ronald Acuna has been the MVP favorite for most of the year. The last 6 weeks, I'd say, like it's been a more open discussion between Acuna, Olsen, Freeman, and Betts. So we'll have to see because I think either one of the four, I think could win it. So I'm very curious to see how the voting goes.
Acuna's been crazy, but dude, like, it's almost like it's sad that they're on the same team because, dude, Matt Olson, dude, has just been like, just clutch,
Yeah.
And it's so crazy to see a guy like that, go to a team that had such a beloved person in that position before him with Freeman and just literally, like, make you forget about him basically if you're a Braves fan. You'll always have love for the player, but at the same time, like, they haven't missed a beat with the output basically.
No, like he is like leaps and bounds ahead with home runs and RBI. And it's weird. All four of the guys have a different part of their game that you would say, oh, he's definitely an MVP. Freddie, it's the amount of doubles that he'll probably end up with will be insane.
Yeah.
Ronald, it's the combine of home runs and steals. Matt Olson, it's the home runs and RBI. And Mookie, I don't know, has like one that's in looking good, but he's just been good across the board. Like I believe he set a new career high in single season home runs. So it's going to be one of those four. There's absolutely no way it's not one of those four. Like, it's been Acuna since like April 15th. Like, when he got off such a hot start with all the stolen bases because of the new rules, like, it just, I definitely think it's one of the four. I couldn't choose right now because some days I think it's
going to be
Olson.
I think it's going to be really interesting because of the fact that it is four, but it's two on one team, two on another team. So it's going to be really interesting to see how these votes get split. And, that could really have a huge impact, or maybe it kind of shifts who wins it over who deserves it type of situations. That's going to be really fascinating to watch.
Yeah. Like, it's like, I feel like it's going to get split between all four. So I think it depends on each individual rider. What do they consider contributes best to what is a most valuable player? And I've said this before, that if you have two candidates on the same team, are they really the most valuable? But in this case, the only four, two of them are on the same team. So I think that argument kind of doesn't mean much because there's outside those four, there's really not. I jokingly said it in July that maybe Corbin Carroll, but he, in the month of August, really fell off. He'll get Rookie of the Year. There's no doubt about that. But MVP, unfortunately, we aren't going to get another one of those Rookie of the Year MVP seasons. I really wanted it, but he kind of fell off there. He's probably going to finish with like 25 homers and almost 60 steals, which is phenomenal for a rookie.
Yeah.
But
I mean, phenomenal for any player.
Yes, exactly. Like, it was weird. For a long time, everyone's like, Ellie's going to catch him. And then, like, what has Ellie done? Ellie has really not done anything lately. Like, occasionally he'll have a really fast throw, but offensively, he's not there yet. He has that. Yeah. He has that potential where he could be as exciting as Ronald Acuna, where he hits just these massive bombs, speed off the chart, amazing arm. But unfortunately, he's not. I don't think he wins it this year, and he's not going to qualify for next year. So he kind of misses that boat there. But no, I can't see anybody else winning MVP outside those four.
Yeah, I agree.
AL, I think Ohtani still gets it, even though I think Kyle Tucker has a decent argument as well. And he's playing on a team that's going to be making the play. I understand the award is not a playoff team making award, but like you would think if he's the most valuable player in his league, his team's winning.
Look,
And-
I'll interject because I'm a homer. I would be shocked if Tucker got it just because of.
I think he'll get
Ohtani
vote. I
nut hugging,
actually I don't even know
basically,
if he'll get
you know?
any first place votes. I think they're all. Gonna
Well,
be
yeah,
pushed
because
up.
at the end of the day, too, I see where your argument's coming from because Otani's basically been shut down,
Yeah.
for quite some time now, and it doesn't look like he's going to come back. But at the same time, too, I'm not going to take away from how dominant you have. What's sad is it got taken away from us, if that made sense. Obviously, that whole injury was affecting the last leg of the past month and a half probably.
Yeah.
But he kind of slowed down on the whole home runs and stuff like that before the injury actually was announced. I'm not going to say occurred, announced, because of the mismanaged by the medical staff there in Anaheim. It seems to be a reoccurring theme with the players that they have on their roster. But yeah, dude, Tucker's had a great season. It stinks though, obviously, with us having to pay him, which I'm all for, but it does stink to see what your front of the house is going to do and what the owner's going to do to fork up the money to get him signed and extended. But yeah, Tucker's been not only dominant, but I mean, dude, anytime you can get to a 100 RBI mark in a season, that's doing something, that's hitting the ball,
Yeah.
And honestly, when you really think about that, I said it last year and I said it the year before, doing away with the shift is going to make left-handed hitters that much more valuable, kind of like when we grew up in the 90s with them, on how valuable a power left-handed hitter is. And obviously that's going to come back to play in a game, because I said at the very beginning of the year that Tucker would contend for a batting title this season, and he's done that plus more too. He's got his name in arguably the top 3 of AL MVP.
Yeah, I think it's him, Seager, and Ohtani technically that are the
Right.
top 3. But I mean, we've obviously seen what's happened with the Rangers, and they're falling off. I don't think there's anything Seager can do outside of like a tear in the last 3 weeks to really take anything away. But I also think with Ohtani, I think it's not only getting the award for this year, but I think this is one of those situations where he's going to get it for what he did last year as well, and probably deserved it last year if Judge didn't have those. Just hit a bunch of bombs. Outside of that, he's been the best player in the American League the last 2 years. So it's definitely his to lose at this point. I just don't see them taking it away from him.
So speaking of the Angels, did y'all see the report that they're open to trading Mike Trout?
Yeah. I think they've always been open to trading Mike Trout. They just have never come out and actually said it, if that makes any sense.
Probably for 26 players, something like that.
Right.
Like,
at the end of the day,
it is not.
At the end of the day, he kind of did it to himself. Because let's face it, he could have left. And honestly, I would have been willing to bet anything back before he extended with the Angels that he would have gone back home. Because remember, that's when Harper first went to Philly. He's such a Philly guy. He's always
we all thought that.
Well, he's always at the Eagles game. I was like, there is no way he does not end up as a Philadelphia Philly. And then when I remember being like actually shocked and having to like double and triple look at my phone when it came through that he had extended with the Angels, because I would have been willing to bet anything that he would have gone back home.
So last 4 seasons, this is his games played: 82, 119, 36, and 53. Now 53 was the 60-game season, so that's not such a big deal. But the last 3, 36, 119, and 82 games,
not good
for supposedly the best player in baseball during those seasons. Like, arguably across the sport, it's not good. Like
Yeah.
and the fact is, he's only been to the playoffs once since his debut in 2011.
The Angels are something, to say the least. Just unbelievable how they've wasted all of his prime years, wasted all of this time they had with Ohtani, and it's like if they're both gone and they've got nothing to show for it, that's just
And what is
sad.
the common factor in the Angels the last decade of the struggles? It's Artie Moreno. Like they may have had different. I mean, Mike Scioscia was there for a very, very long time, and then they brought in Phil Nevin. But yeah, no, it's really sad to see that we have literally the best player in baseball. He's not going to be in the playoffs again with Shohei and Mike Trout. So right now I want to go
But they
over
are.
and
But I mean, they are. They kind of are. Jordan and Tucker will be there, so it's really not that big of a deal.
So I have pulled up here. Let me go ahead and move this overlay. Our preseason, basically win-loss. And we'll kind of go over this really quickly. I do also have the current standings in front of me, so we can kind of see, are we even close to getting any of these? Some of them we are, some of them we are not. So we all said Yankees at 94.5 under. I think we're going to be fine. They're at 73.
Yeah.
I believe they've officially been eliminated from the AL East.
You know, what's crazy is that we were talking garbage about the Rangers before we came in, but they just swept the Blue Jays. I saw Toronto. That's why my brain works.
Yeah. Baltimore, we all said over 76.5. They're at 91 as of right now. That's crazy to me.
Mm-hmm.
That is still the Adley Rutschman effect, plus bringing up all these stellar players. They probably have the AL Rookie of the Year in Gunnar Henderson. Gunnar is simply special. And he's normally a third baseman, but they've been playing him at shortstop the last few months. He's looked really, really good. So Toronto, I just realized I don't have Chris's there, but I have a feeling
Under.
So Chris is the only one that's probably going to get this right because they're at 80. So they'd have to go on, and there's like 16 games left. So they'd have to go on a serious tear. So Chris wins that one. Tampa, 88.5. And Blake is the only one that's going to get this one.
Yeah. He believes
Blake
in Tampa. I appreciate that.
He does. Boston, 78.5. It's possible.
Yeah.
Because they're at 73 wins right now.
They play like 2 series back-to-back against the Rangers.
Interesting.
So, yeah, we're just going to have to see there. Moving to the NL East. Chris, you're going to lose that one. You said under 94.5. Unless they just tank now that they've won the division.
Yeah.
But I feel like they still might.
They're already over 94.
Really? I thought they were at 90.
They're at 96, bro.
Oh, my bad. 96. Never mind. So Chris loses that one, but Blake and I win.
Do the Mets next.
94.5. I was off on that one. I said over.
I'm pretty sure I was just trying to be funny because I've always picked the Mets on here and just like completely eaten crow on it. So I'm pretty sure that's why I would just said over just to mock you guys because of how bad we were trashing them.
I was gonna say, like, I remember talking about how Verlander and Scherzer probably wouldn't like last all year with them, which arguably is right.
Right.
Again, I think you were maybe thinking injury wise they would be there.
I didn't clarify.
Yeah, that's true. You did
I'm
not.
kidding. No, I thought it was gonna be injury wise, which one of them is true.
So Phillies at 88.5. I think it's gonna be close.
I'll just go ahead and tip the hat.
They're at 79 right now, and to be honest, 88 wins, I think gets a wild card. I think at least 88 wins. So we'll have to see. Chris and I have the under. Blake has the over. So we'll see how that goes. Miami at 76 and a half. Chris and I have the over, and they're currently at 74.
Believe in handsome Skip Schumacher always.
I feel like that's why you said the over.
Yeah, they're always a good team.
Yeah. Washington, 65. They're at 65 wins right now. This is 60 and a half. I'm the only one that wins this one.
Wow.
I just I knew
I
they
thought they
weren't
were honestly. I thought they were going to be the worst team in baseball this season.
Nah,
We were way off on that.
Yeah.
Oakland said, "Hold my beer, please."
Kansas City has a worse record than the A's.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. So this one is so bad. Chicago White Sox. I mean, we all got it right, by the way. 83 and a half. We all said under. They're at 56 wins right now. So we're not wrong. I just don't.
Good.
I personally did not like. I think I was thinking mid 70s, not the shit show that they've been.
Yeah.
Cleveland, 86 and a half. They're at 69 wins right now. Chris, you're gonna win this one because Blake and I took the over. I don't. Yeah,
I took the under on everyone but Minnesota. Interesting.
You did. Detroit at 70 and a half. They're at 66 right now.
Yeah.
And we all took the under. Again, it's entirely possible. They could have a really bad 2 weeks. So we'll just have to wait and see. Kansas, look at this. Kansas City at 69 and a half. We all said under. It's just great. They're at 45 right now.
Yeah. It's crazy.
Like, now that we kind of know, I think the record was the record most losses in a season.
It's like 120 something, isn't it?
20 and 134.
Okay.
So we're not going to get there.
Was that?
Well, yeah, that was 1899. So let's see if we can
modern
find
era.
one.
Modern era.
Let's see. Modern. There we go. So 117 is the record of the Philly A's. So 117 losses. Kansas City would basically have to literally lose the rest of their game. So we're not going to see that.
Yeah.
I think 110 is possible, though. I think they could potentially lose at least half.
They're 101 right now. Like that's 9 losses. that's not hard for them at all this year.
Minnesota, 83 and a half. We all took the over. They're at 76.
Yeah.
I think that hits. I think they'll get to 84. They're going to be one and done in the playoffs because it don't matter because they'll be playing. God, who would they be playing right now?
Whoever's leading the wild card, right?
No. So they beat Seattle.
Card.
So right now they'd be playing. I think it's going to be whoever is the worst out of the ones in the AL West. Unless Toronto beats out one of them. I think Texas has been a little bit too inconsistent. So moving on here, we got the NL Central. St. Louis, 88 and a half. We all had the under, so that's good. Because they've been abysmal. They've been bad. They're at 65 and 81. This is definitely like the worst record for them in a very long time. Normally they are between, I think, 80 to 85 wins, so they're definitely shocked on that. Cubs, 77 and a half. We all said the over, and it literally just hit. They're at 78 wins right now.
Excellent.
So, Pittsburgh was 68 and a half. They're right at 68. So one more win, and we all lose because we all said the under. Cincinnati, 65 and a half. They're at 76 right now, and we all said the under. We all lost. Milwaukee, 83 and a half. They're at 81 right now. Chris is
Over,
probably
baby.
be the only one that wins. Chris took the over. I just thought that their offense was going to be so bad all year that didn't matter how good their starting pitching is. I
We
just
thought
think
the Central was going to be hot garbage this year, and I mean, all things
it
considered,
was,
it really wasn't.
it was for the first 2 to 3 months, but then
You
the
say it was, but
Brewers.
Pittsburgh started hot, and the Reds were great. I mean, the worst team in that division this year really has been the Cardinals overall, which is something we didn't expect.
So moving on to the AL West at 95.5. Houston's currently at 83, and Blake was the only one that said the over because he's got to do his homer thing.
Well, we would have hit if Dusty Baker wasn't our manager.
Oh, we're going there now.
You mean the guy that won you a World Series?
Last time I checked, Yordan Alvarez won us a World Series. But
With Dusty's leadership.
With Dusty's leadership. Seattle, 87.5. We all said the over. They're at 81. I feel if they want to make the playoffs, this will hit.
they got to get there, yeah.
Yeah.
Like
They got to.
if they
Well,
don't,
you think about it, that's gonna be so much fun next week because you get to see 4 games with them against the Rangers, and then they bounce to another 3-game series. So that's gonna be really, really fun
Yeah.
to watch which one of them hands us the division next week.
Angels is at 82.5, and I think I just was confident that Trout and Ohtani would be playing most of the year. Blake's the only one
And
that's
that's
gonna
why-
win.
We're dumb.
that's-
We're dumb.
And that's
So,
why
I was like, why am I this confident about this team? They do it.
you
they
were
do it
that
every
confident that I was like, all right, I'm going under.
year. Texas 82.5. They're at 81 right now. Chris will most likely, unless they just go awful, like a new low, and they've been bad the last 6 weeks. But losing like 1 out of your last 16 would be a new low for them for sure.
I just want to point out, I feel like there's been at least 5, maybe a little bit less, of ones that you guys, I've gone opposite of you guys and I've won.
Yes,
Just put it out there.
There's no doubt about that. Oakland 60.5. We all said the under. They're at 46 right now. And by the way, Chris, you were like, oh, Kansas City's worse by 1 game. They're both awful. The fact that you'll have 2
I know like 3 guys that are
triple-digit
actually
losses.
on Oakland. I can't name a guy on the Royals.
I can name 1 guy on the Royals, and that's Bobby Witt Jr. That's it.
I was gonna say Greinke and Salvi, but I like, jokingly,
Oh,
like I've
sorry, yeah.
learned like some names of the A's because they've had decent seasons, like Rooker and those guys. So
Yeah, this next one's gonna hurt. San Diego 93.5.
are they not gonna get there? Are they not gonna get there?
Hold up. What are they at here? 68 and 78. I
You don't
think
have to
even
say
if
it
they
out loud.
even if they won the rest of their games, I don't even know if they make the playoffs.
No.
Does that be
what was it?
84?
There was a point where they had to go like 18-1 to have a chance to, and that's if other teams went like even 500. So yeah, it's not happening.
Yeah. LA 93.5. We all said under, but they're at 88 right now. So I feel
Could be
like
close.
that's probably their magic number is 4 right now. So they could clinch here in the next couple of days. For like the 12th, 13th year in a row. Some crazy number.
200th, whatever. I don't remember.
But it don't matter because they're going to do what they do in October, and that's lose in the divisional round. So we got my Arizona Diamondbacks 75.5. They won game
We did
number
it.
76.
We all
it
had
hit.
that. Huh?
Yes, we did.
See, we all
Um,
respected your beloved Diamondbacks, Brandon. Even though you give us crap all year about jokes, we respected them.
I also have a bet of them winning 80+ games, so I'm hoping I have a good feeling that one's going to hit too. So I'm very happy about
Okay.
that.
Nice.
Giants at 81.5. That one I don't know. They're at 76 right now, but that offense is not good
They've
right
been
now.
struggling. Yeah.
Like they aren't scoring, but their pitching's really good. But they don't have a guy in that lineup that you're like, oh, that guy's gonna beat us. Who is it? Wilmer Flores? Jock Peterson? Like, who is it in that offense? That's why I feel like they're gonna be big players for Shohei. They need that guy. They need that guy. And like, who do they market to their local fan base as the guy? Gabe Kapler, their coach? Like
Shohei Ohtani next year.
Let's hope so. They went 0 for 2 this past offseason.
Yes, they did.
And then Colorado, 65.5. They're at 53. I said over because I thought they'd be a little bit better. That's not true. So we were wrong on that one. And then here's our World Series and MVP. Mine's not going to hit for World Series. Chris isn't going to hit for Blake's is the most logical right now. I think.
I mean, it was, yeah.
My MVPs, I like I said, I think Kyle Tucker is in the discussion. Christopher, you both had Ohtani and Soto. Yes, you both will get one. And it's not like Soto's had a bad year. It's just what the four guys that we were taught, what we were already discussing, what they've done.
Yeah. So out of everything, Chris hit more, but I got 20 points for guessing the World Series, right?
I agree.
So I win. What's that name? What's the name of what's the name of the game again? Oh, I win. Name the movie.
That is no, God, it's the Adam Sandler joint. Why am I blanking on the name?
Scuba Steve.
No, come on. I know the movie. I just can't name it right now. God, I'm so upset with myself. Carry on.
Big Daddy.
Yeah, so I posted this in our group chat, I think a couple weeks ago, that if the Braves don't win, is that a bigger disappointment than I don't remember what the other one said. And I think Blake was like, both aren't going to happen.
Right. I mean, look, yeah, I think it's weird to say because I expected Atlanta to run away with that division. Does that make sense? So
I didn't expect this to be
and
like
I'm
this,
not
though.
and I'm not short selling it. I will say that it didn't. I agree with you, Brandon. I didn't expect it to be like this, but it still didn't shock me. Does that make sense?
No,
because
that makes sense.
because they've won the division now how many years in a row? Like it's almost like 6 or 7. Like it's like the 90s era again. And I even said, and I remember saying this now as my World Series, that I thought that they were going to bounce back, that this was the year that they were going to be the contender.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry, Chris. It was Padres not making it. And so Padres not making the playoffs or Braves not winning the World Series. What's a bigger disappointment?
Yeah. I think the Padres, like, it sucks because I feel for Chris. Like I have been a spoiled fan this year, going back and looking and being like, man, we had like 7 to 12 games that were within 1 to 2 runs. And then and what's funny is I looked at that literally when I was on vacation, Brandon, and then you sent that out yesterday about like what was it the record would be if the
one lost games were flipped or whatever.
And then I saw y'all's and I was like, all right, I'm spoiled. You know what I mean? And I feel because like if you look on paper, and I know this is a really bad comparison, but when I play my son in MLB The Show, I still choose the freaking Padres to play against them. You know what I mean? Because on paper, they're a juggernaut. You know what I mean? And you know, I actually explained to him the other day because he asked what their record was. And I said, look, buddy, this is just shows that it's not a team. A team isn't made up of a bunch of great individuals. It takes a lot of different things. It takes greatness, it takes gelling, and it takes a core that can get together. And honestly, I mean, Chris, you have more insight because you listen to the local radio stations, you hear the chatter around the town. I don't know what's going on over there, but it hasn't. the spark hasn't been there all season long, and I think that's the most devastating thing to see is that you didn't even get a glimmer of like a long stretch that these guys were. It felt like they were gelling together.
Yeah, no, and it was. I mean, there was a point I want to say like July where they pulled within 3 of the wild card and just never got near it again. But it's one thing I will say is Blake, I'm a San Diegan. You can't hurt me when it comes to sports. I feel no pain.
Because it's
all
happened
I've
so
known my
much.
it's all I've known my
You're so
entire
numb
life.
to
Like,
it.
I cannot be hurt. But no, I mean this obviously I think them
Yeah.
missing the
So yeah,
playoffs is
it's
1,000% more disappointing than the Braves not winning the world. They're not making the World Series because I mean we look at what Atlanta did and they retooled. They made extremely smart signings. Like you have to give all the credit in the world to their front office, the way they've navigated everything and really set themselves up not only for this year but years to come. And like striking gold with obviously Olsen was an absolutely amazing grab for the Braves in order to have that first baseman, basically plugging in a younger Freddie Freeman, which is crazy that they were able to just pull that off. But yeah, I mean, this team here in San Diego is there's gonna have to be a lot of conversations in the off season, and I think all of it circles around AJ Preller. And I just, as long as he has the reins of this team, I don't know if I have the faith this team can win a World Series under him.
yeah, like this. Some of these, like San Diego, it has boggled my mind their record because if you look at that run differential is such a huge like I think it's top 5 in the National League, but they're 10 games under 500. And as we see on this graphic, had they won those close games, which they've literally lost all of them, 16 game improvement. They would
They're
be the first wild card right now by a lot.
Yeah, they're the only team in the National League that has a positive run differential that is not in a playoff spot. And for example, Arizona has a negative 23 run differential. Cincinnati has a negative 35 run differential, and they're in the playoff spot right now. Like and it's telling you, it's one of these seasons that people are going to look back on and they're going to look at stats. They're going to look at this team and go, how the hell did this team not make the playoffs or not even sniff 500? Like it's fascinating.
Yeah, and like if you watch their games, you can kind of understand where this run differential comes from. Because they'll have games where they win like 10-2, and then they'll have a 3-game stretch where they score 2 runs.
Yeah.
That's literally what it is. It's a very misleading stat. Like they'll have some games where they score a lot, and then they'll have just several in a row where they don't do anything, where offense is non-existent.
Well, it's very sad when like the running joke on with Padres fans is after a big game, it's like, oh, they're not going to score the next 2 days, no point in watching it. It's like basically what it is. If they have a big game, they just for some reason cannot back it up the next day. It's fascinating.
That's so like that's the only one that's a major jump. Now the Cardinals one is pretty big too. Theirs is a 11 game improvement, and the other one that stood out to me is Orioles would be at 14 game difference, which means they are winning those close games.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they have been all year. It makes a difference, you know.
Yeah, like when I saw this, I'm like, that is absolutely insane. Just how critical 1-run games are. Is they can make or break your season, which has for the Padres there. So we do have just a couple more weeks here left in the season. I'm literally on the edge of my seat for every Diamondback game because every win matters. And Blake, for the love of God, can you please not sweep us that final weekend? Because that's what it's gonna.
I'm
be
very
resting
excited
by
for that.
then.
I am very excited for that because I Blake, both of you guys are going to be in the heat of it right there, and it's going to be funny when it comes down to all of that between you guys. I'm very excited for the bases loaded World Series, the last weekend of the season.
Yeah, I'm like, I saw it. I'm like, oh my God, and like we're gonna be right there for a playoff. So we're gonna. Yeah, I just don't know how it's gonna go.
y'all didn't hear what I said. We'll be resting by then, so it's just gonna
I
work
heard you.
out.
I heard you.
It's gonna work
I
out.
really hope
Okay.
you are. That way we can win at least two. Like if we can win 2 of those games, I think that's going to be
Listen,
huge for
like
us.
dude. I went from like the highest highs with you know after the Ranger series, after just trouncing them in Arlington, you know, to losing the first 2 games of this Oakland series. Like, if you would have told me, so when I looked at this Oakland series, I was like, oh, we got Valdez and Verlander. That's 2 W's, but Brown's been off. So if we're gonna lose a game, I can see us losing that. But for it to be opposite, for us to lose Valdez and Verlander with the A's, was really strange. What I think what helps us, obviously, yeah, we do play Baltimore coming up, but we play Kansas City back to back. We play Kansas City there, and then we play Kansas City at home. The bad thing about the Astros is our MO for the last 3 seasons, and y'all have heard me say this multiple times, is we can't win at home. We can kill anybody on the road, but we can't win at home. So honestly, and this does sound like spoiled fan that's been there for the past going on 7 seasons. I don't care where we end up, because honestly we've played better on the road and we've been better road warriors in the playoffs. So just don't be stupid and catastrophically get in, but we not get in. But at the same time, you have to think about that last week. As critical as it is for you guys, Brandon, you have to think the Rangers play Seattle 4 times.
Yep.
Did we play Seattle 3 times? And then they end the season with the Rangers 3 times. So those 11 games are going to literally decide the division. And I mean, you could call me a homer, but it's kind of favors us. We're literally in the lead right now. And then they have to play us 3 times. And then they have to play the Rangers 7 times. So, unless something crazy really happens, I really, really like our chances for the division.
I'm calling my
Yeah.
shot right now, and I think we're gonna have a 1-game playoff.
Oh, you think so?
Oh,
I
can
don't know.
almost see it,
I don't know if it's gonna be there might be one in the AL and one in the NL, but we shall see.
Yeah, I think you're probably right. We'll have one for the AL West, and I think we're gonna have one for that final wild card in the National League. I think that's because if you look at the standings, that 3rd spot, like you keep seeing teams within like a game of a half of each other, and it's jumbled like every day. Like you'll see teams go on a hot win streak, and then they'll go on a cold streak. Like it causes me too much anxiety. I don't like it.
Well,
I was
it's
very
like
pleased. We
there's
took
4 teams
3
within a
from
half
the
a game of
Cubs
each other.
last week. That was huge. We cut it from 4-2. We play 3 against the Cubs starting Friday. Game 3 is on Sunday Night Baseball. Diamondbacks haven't been on Sunday Night Baseball since like 2018. I will be at that game because I was like, dude, they haven't been on Sunday Night Baseball in years. So yeah, I'm definitely gonna go to that one.
You don't want to watch Sunday Night Baseball when they're on it?
I mean, I will.
That's stellar.
In person.
That's stellar broadcast. That's stellar broadcast.
No, thank you. But no, we have 3 against the Cubs, then a quick 2 against the Giants. Then we go to the Yankees and the White Sox. I don't understand the way they made the schedule where we literally go to Chicago to play the Cubs, and we come home, and then we play the Mets, and we come back, we play the Cubs here, then we go to the Yankees. I was like, why not just play both? Like, why not do a full week, play the Yankees and the Mets, come home, have a series, then go back to Chicago, play the Cubs and the Mets?
Do you really want me to answer that question on why they did that?
No, because I'm.
Do you really want me to answer that question? They wanted those guys to get their frequent flyer minors before the season was over, guys. Okay.
Yeah, and then
I was gonna say it had something to do with zero respect.
Yeah, and then we finished the season with 3 at home versus Blake's Houston Astros. And I've been saying since mid-August, if they can get to 86 wins, I think they get the wild card. I'd feel a lot better at 88. If they get 88, I would feel like so much better. 86, I think, is possible as long as like the Marlins and the Reds and the Giants kind of slip a little bit.
Mhm.
But 88, I would feel like, all right, It's ours. It's in our hands. We control our own destiny. 86, we got to hope that they lose.
So listen to this real quick. For the AL West, we're gonna jump back to the playoff talk. I still like our chances because look, yeah, the Mariners won today, but they go they're off tomorrow, but then they play the best team in California this weekend, guys. They're gonna play the Dodgers. Then they play the second worst team in California, the Oakland A's. Then they're gonna play Texas, Houston, and
Second
Texas.
worst. Who's the worst team in California?
Chris's face was priceless. I'm just messing with you. But then you look, and this was what's weird to me. Okay, so look, so yes, I got it wrong earlier, and I correct myself. I forgot that the Rangers, it's a 4-game series, so they played a Toronto tomorrow. Okay. I'm for the last like 2 months, I've just registered my brain that the Astros haven't played on Thursday in like 2.5 months. So it's weird when like baseball teams.
That's
play
nice
on
because the
Thursday.
Diamondbacks literally had 17 games in a row that they had games.
Oh, for real? Yeah. So they played Toronto, then they play Cleveland, then they play Boston, and then it's Seattle, Anaheim, Seattle. Okay. But look, the Rangers right now, and I think what they're missing, and look, this is probably one of the biggest positive Rangers things you're going to hear from me all season long. Look, this team, they know where they need to fix in the offseason, and that's their bullpen. Their bullpen is atrocious. And the bad thing about it is they have been taxed. They have been taxed for the last month and a half, and their starting pitching has been so extended. You know, losing Scherzer hurts them even more just on that note alone, just because their bullpen can't keep up. And that's where I think the wheels are going to fall off. But at the same time, their offense is so potent that, you know, I mean, they've put up 10 runs twice, you know, on the Blue Jays this week. So it's going to be interesting. I still like our odds. You know, I don't think if it even came down to it, you know, if the division having a 1-team like playoff game for the division would even like rattle me, if that makes sense. And that sounds arrogant, but at the same time, I just want to see. It's almost like I'm ready just for playoff baseball now, if that makes sense, you know. And I don't know if that's because like college has started and football and the NFL has started, you know.
It all moves together, yeah.
But at the same time, what's weird is like I told Rachel, and it's just you guys are obviously, I mean, I know you're Arizona fans, and this isn't me kicking, but I turned on the Texans game for like a quarter, and then I was like, all right, the Astros are playing the Padres, you know? Yeah. So just flipped it over, you know.
So yeah, so here are the playoff tiebreakers, just because you brought it up. So there's the head-to-head record, and I believe this is just for if it's a 2-team, and they say with 3 it gets more complicated. The intra-division record, inter-division record, and last half of intra-league games, last half of intra-league games +1. I would love it if the AL West and that final wild card spot both end in a 3-way tie, because that just sounds like chaos that I'm all for. Because it could be like one of those things where we have basically team 1 plays team 3, whoever wins that one plays team 2, or like it's a round robin with all 3.
I don't think it's gonna. I don't know if it even has a chance because I know that we won the series.
I think they'll just go based on the. I think it's going to go based on the tiebreakers, but I would really like it to be just like at least one of the games be played to break the tie.
Yeah. Now I will say the Mariners. I think they're leading the series against us this year because we've just been awful at home, like I said. But yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, we I think with the first win this last week against the Rangers, we won the series. For the year against them.
So yeah, we'll just have to wait and see here. We got about 2 weeks to go. Chris, are you even watching Padres games anymore?
I tune in and out. No, I still watch. Like I watched Monday. We won on Monday, so I watched.
Hader had to throw 40 freaking pitches in a non-save situation.
I was laughing so much. I was just like, man, he's not going to want to pitch the rest of the season because of that.
He's not coming back anyway, so.
Yeah, it's whatever. But no, man, I pay attention. Like when we get off, I've been scoreboard watching a lot, and if it gets ugly like it did last night, I won't put it on. But it's given me the opportunity to kind of follow other games and other teams. So it gives me the chance to actually keep some eyes on your guys' teams the next 2 weeks or so. So I'll definitely make sure that I do that. And
Padres
keep
have a
eyes
1-0
on things.
lead in the third right now, actually. So maybe he will.
Good for them. Good for them.
Good for you. But yeah, no, I'm gonna be on the edge of my seat with every Diamondback game because every game that we win, it's one game closer to hopefully getting that wild card. But unfortunately, we're not gonna have the number 1 wild card. So if I want to go to a playoff game, they got to get to the divisional round. And if you ask me right now who I'd rather play, I'd rather get the 3rd wild card so I can play the Brewers. I'd rather play the Brewers than play the Phillies because that Brewers offense.
I mean, we saw what they did. We also saw what Philadelphia did in the playoffs last year. And if they're at home, that fan base is special.
Exactly. I'm like, I don't want. And the way Trey Turner has finally turned it around, and Bryce Harper in October. Nope, no, thank you. I do not want to face that. So yeah, I'd rather play the Brewers, and then that way we would end up playing the Dodgers, and at least I can go to a playoff game there. I don't know what to expect because at the beginning of the year, Diamondbacks played really well against the Dodgers. They had a 3-game series a week and a half or 2 weeks ago when the Dodgers just like literally bent us over and just spanked our ass. Like it was it's like the Diamondbacks forgot how to play baseball. Like the Dodgers absolutely dominated us in that 3-game series. And I'm like, if we play them again, can we please not do that? Can we at least look like we know how to play baseball? So, but I feel like Blake's not as I feel Blake's not as anxious with the Astros because he knows they're going to make it in somehow, whether it's a wild card or the division.
No, he said they're resting. They're going to win. They're going to win the West, and they're going to be resting by the time you play them.
Be resting.
I really, really, really hope so. Blake, any parting thoughts for the pod?
Astros in 5.
Chris, any parting thoughts?
Go Rangers, go Mariners.
Yeah, jerk.
All right, everyone. Do appreciate everyone for tuning in. Make sure to check all of our Twitters are right here. They'll be in the description box of the video. Enjoy the last 2 weeks of regular season baseball.